with that boy?
I don't know, but it's clear it isn't our parenting. We're awesome.
In Butters' very own episode, Steven started going to gay bathhouses and movie theaters, and Butters unwittingly walked in on him. Before Steven could get Butters to keep a secret, the latter told his mother, and she went.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy X, and I'm back with another video, another reaction video, another banger, another entertaining video for you. And today I got who is animation's worst dad. Y'all already know when it comes to cartoons, anime, no matter what it is, there's always going to be a deadbeat dad, or not even don't have to be a deadbeat. They could just be terrible fathers. You know what I'm saying? They either terrorize their kids or they just not there at all. So we're gonna figure that out today. If you guys do me a huge favor, just almighty push that like button, you know what I'm saying, subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no videos from me. And also when you do that, part of the only Engager warriors, you know what I'm saying. Everything will be in the description down below. So without further ado, let's actually get to the video.
Who, let's just say, won't be winning any Parent of the Year awards anytime soon. So let's hand out a new
Oh my
award,
god, he's the worst dad.
Crappiest dad. But because there are so many contenders, I've had to bring along some lovely friends to help me out here. But before we start, quickly write down below your pick for the worst father in animation. And let's see how many people agree or disagree with you. So first up, we have Mr. Turner from the
and I'm so glad he on this list. Yo, I mean, Timmy was getting tortured throughout his life. Getting tortured. In school, at home, with the babysitter, Vicky. I mean, damn. And then every time he tried to explain himself, both his mom and dad are terrible. Both of them are terrible. I don't give a damn what y'all say. Both of them are terrible. I don't care how thick Mrs. Turner is. I don't give a damn.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Here, go play with this dangerous acid in the street.
So while Mr. Turner probably isn't the first name that comes to your mind when you think about crappy dads, he definitely deserves a mention.
My dreams were shattered years ago.
How many years ago?
How old are you?
If you think about it, Timmy has fairy godparents because he's one of the most miserable kids in the entire world. And why is he so miserable? Well, because of his babysitter Vicky. And why does he have an evil babysitter? Because his parents are always leaving him behind. And it's not like they have Vicky because they go to work. They simply just want to spend as much time as they can away from their only child.
You're not old enough for this movie, and we're not taking you!
And that, my friends, is neglect.
Too happy.
We have a special surprise for you!
A surprise? What is it? What?
It's Vicky!
So yeah, while Mr. Turner certainly isn't the absolute worst like the other dads I'll mention on this list, he is, however, extremely neglectful.
Don't go! She's just gonna mess up the house and blame me!
And therefore I thought it was a pretty good start.
And just laughing about it, like, don't even give a fuck.
Because it's only gonna get worse. But you know what, despite him being neglectful, Mr. Turner has shown from time to time that he really does love his boy. Like when he made him that crummy bike. And then there was that flashback which showed him recording every second of Timmy's life. Oh yeah, and I should quickly mention here that I'm limiting this list to dads from Western TV shows only. So, no movies or Japanese anime. Otherwise, this video would be over 10 hours long. Next up, we have Stan Smith from American Dad.
He like in the middle for me. He in the middle. Like, he ain't the best father. He's not the best. But he certainly ain't the worst, though. I don't know. Man. I think maybe he does deserve to be on this list, but I like Stan. Stan is funny as hell. But I feel like he's always willing to protect his family, though. I think that's like the one thing, like there's something going on with his daughter or his son or his wife. Hell, even Roger or Klaus, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's very protective over his family. So, I mean, certain things that he does is crazy. Let's not get this shit twisted. But, you know, he probably deserves to be on here.
So to talk about our next contender for worst dad, I've invited Dan the Man onto the channel.
Okay,
and Dan
has
really been releasing so many American Dad bangers this year. Although, I have a bit of beef with Dan because while I was recording my history of the Golden Turd video, he dropped his on the same topic. But, annoyingly, it's really, really good. So I couldn't really stay mad at him for very long. So
yeah, I mean,
take
good,
it away, Dan.
good content's good content.
Thank you,
know?
very much for inviting me. But it's not like you had a choice. I have an alarm go off every time someone mentions American Dad, so I would have barged in anyways. Sometimes I see people say that Stan Smith is one of, if not the worst animated father on television. And truth be told, I can't say these statements are without their merit. Stan Smith
He's not the worst.
is by no means Father of the Year.
Yeah.
He has done too many downright awful things to his family, especially his kids, to possibly ever list.
Haley, how would you like a punch in the face?
Anyways, here's a list of some of the downright awful things that he's done to his family, especially his kids. Steal Haley's boyfriend to work in a sweatshop. Steal Steve's best friend for his own selfish reasons. Brainwash Haley to be a sleeper agent. Brainwash Steve to be afraid of sex. Almost have sex with Haley. Almost have sex with Steve. Cut off Haley's face. Cut off Steve's bowling career by stabbing him.
Oh my
He's done
god!
plenty of other bad
Oh,
things too,
shit.
like become a bully of
Oh,
and drive a clone of Steve to insanity. He's constantly at ends with his daughter for their differing political views.
True,
and with the family as a whole, he left them in a freezing car with no key. He left them trapped in tubes of goo to get away from them. And one time, no joke, they forgot about Father's Day, and he kept resetting their memory and made them think that each day was Father's Day until they got it perfect. He wiped their memories 190 days in a row. Let me repeat that, 190 days. And to be honest, that doesn't even cover half of it. But given all of that, do I think that Stan is the worst animated father?
You can't be.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he's definitely
He's definitely a jackass. Yeah.
really bad one. Don't mince my words on that. But that's not to say that he's never done anything for his family.
Exactly.
In fact, he actually makes some huge sacrifices for them, which doesn't negate any of the awful stuff, to be fair, but it definitely helps show his heart's in the right place. For example, after almost completing his dream car that he's been building for years, he forgoes the final piece that he needs so that he can continue to search for it with Steve, so they can spend more time together.
Don't you see, son? Finding DeLorean doors is our thing.
Hey, yeah.
He goes back in time and finds out that Haley might not even be his kid, since Francine slept with another man right before their wedding. And after messing that up, he still goes through with helping past Francine sleep with this guy, despite the fact that Haley might not even technically be his kid. Hell, even some of the bad stuff, the intent behind his methods were always for his family, at least in his eyes. Like, he only bullied Steve because he was trying to make him prepared for the real world, and he stabbed him because he was afraid they'd lose contact if he went pro.
Can you ever forgive me and also not tell the police?
Yes.
And one of the most important things is that Stan actually sometimes learns from his mistakes and tries to better himself. He meant what he wrote on that SpongeBob cake. Bad Dad Sad. Does that sound like someone who could possibly be the worst animated father? Okay, maybe. Still, yeah, but I don't think so. Anyways,
I don't think
for
so
having
either,
me
my
on.
guy.
It was fun talking about the show for the umpteenth.
You know what, Dan? Me and you are on the same page here, man. I don't think he is the worst. Now, does he win Father of the Year? No. Not even a little bit. But he's still there for his family, though. He's still very protective. He still cares a lot. But just like you said, it doesn't negate shit. It don't negate nothing. That may be doing some outlandish things. But he ain't the worst. There's a lot of worse.
Anyways,
you know what I'm saying?
bye.
Homer Simpson from The
Like
Simpsons.
this bastard right here. This motherfucker right here. You want to talk about who's worse? There you go. There you go. Simpson is way worse. In my opinion. This man chokes his son. He puts his both hands around his son's throat and squeeze. Yeah.
Okay, seeing as I'm about to talk about The Simpsons, let's quickly change into my Simpsons theory look. Okay, that's better. So look, I love Homer, and it really does hurt me to include him on this list, but come on, the guy's been strangling his kid for over 30 years.
It hurts when I swallow.
You little dog!
And to say that Bart and Homer has definitely had their rough patches is an understatement. For example, in one episode, it was revealed that when Bart was a baby, Homer forced him into doing humiliating commercials, and then he spent all of the money Bart earned on purchasing incriminating photos of him dropping Bart from a balcony. And when Bart learned of this, he decided, of course, to legally remove Homer as his father.
Bart, you're suing us? Yes, I want to be emancipated.
But with all that being said, Homer obviously loves his family very much. Even with his faults, he's shown time and time again that he will do anything for them. Who could forget that episode Maggie Makes 3 when he gave up his dream job to go crawling back to Mr. Burns to beg for his old job back. He did this because he realised he needed to provide for his new growing family. And this act and episode marked an iconic moment for The Simpsons. I mean, this has to be one of the most beautiful scenes in animation history.
Oh my god, that episode where, like, I think it was literally the end, like the ending of that episode where he starts to leave his work area, and then you see like why he was doing the things that he was doing, why he's even working, and it's just a picture of his baby, man. Just like, who you do it for? You do it for her. And that was, for the first time ever of me watching The Simpsons, I actually was like, I got like goosebumps. You know what I'm saying? It was very relatable, because I mean, how many of y'all do the things that y'all do, whether if it's just a job or, you know what I'm saying, just trying to do things, hopefully you're doing things the legal way, but if you're in a situation where you have to do something illegally, like how many times where you just do whatever you can just for your son, your daughter, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father. I mean, a lot of times, you know, as kids, as siblings, as kids, we try to do our best for our mother and our father, because, you know, they sacrifice a lot for us. So, you know, we try to, you know, but it was very relatable, and I can understand that too, because I mean, right now, I want my job to be this. This is what I want my job to be, so then I can spend even more time with my family. But obviously, I have to work harder, and you know what I'm saying, it's not just given. You know what I'm saying, you gotta work hard for you know, better stuff. And I know that, so I'm gonna try to work harder.
Oh, he has forgotten that she exists from time to time.
Hello, little girl. Who do you belong to?
So while his parenting is certainly questionable sometimes, I wouldn't really consider him as being a bad dad, because he's had far too many great parenting moments. The Simpsons is just one of those shows that present the good.
No, he be doing some wild shit. I ain't gonna cap to you. He be doing some wild stuff, and he be doing stuff that put his family in danger all the time. Stan too, Peter too. I think every like cartoon dad kind of does put their family in situations, but when I think of Stan, I think Stan is like he does stuff, but like his protection of his family, and that could be because he's part of the CIA too, so that could be part of it. That might be part of his character, but you know, it's my opinion. It's my opinion.
And the bad of life.
There'll be no slander of Stan over here.
First Ed for being so relatable. So now let's get to South Park, and I've got to be honest with you.
Okay, South Park. Who dad they gonna choose? Is it gonna be Stan? Is it gonna be Stan Marsh? Damn. It's either gonna be Stan or who else? Father is kind of crazy. Butters' dad, or even Kenny's dad. Hold up. I think all their dads are kind of fucking crazy. Besides Kyle, right? Kyle's dad, he's kind of, I mean, he has his crazy moments too, but he's not as bad, right? He's not as bad, but a lot of them are, you know, I can't say Cartman's dad because we don't know who he's actually, we don't know.
For this one, I didn't even know really where to start. It's full of crappy dads, but luckily my friend Kitty Monk has already made a 43-minute video on the worst dads in South Park.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
like,
very
a lot of them
fortunate
are
that she's
bad.
here now to talk a bit more about it. So take it away, Kitty Monk.
Thanks, Lydia. For those of you who don't know
up,
me,
Kitty?
hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and I sometimes make South Park videos. And I gotta say, while South Park is a great cartoon, it has some really horrible fathers, despite how funny they can be. For example, Kenny's father, Stuart McCormick, is probably the worst out of all of them, if we're talking about things from a realistic perspective. He's a raging, deadbeat alcoholic who keeps his family in perpetual poverty and shoots down any possible attempt to improve their lives, blaming everybody else for his own failures. Be they his old friend Gerald Broflovsky for having stronger aspirations.
Ow! Now don't make me do
Crazy.
that again. Ow!
Or
Damn.
even his own son for getting an after-school job and using the proceeds to buy a doll for his little sister. He and his wife, Carol, even went to meetings with the cult of Cthulhu solely to get free beer, and it's all but stated that because they were blackout drunk at the time, they're the reason for Kenny's immortality.
We should have never gone to that stupid cult meeting.
Then there's the infamous
Yo, that
Randy Marsh.
episode was fucking crazy. Because I always wondered, every single time that Kenny died, he came back the next episode. But then I'm like, okay, like, that's just a cartoon thing. You know, especially even on Family Guy. There's been plenty of times where the whole family has died and they came back the next episode, right? Because, I mean, obviously they can't end it. You know what I mean? They got to keep the show going. But I always wonder, I'm like, damn, like in South Park, when people die, they normally do stay dead. Unless they bring them back from, like, this, like, thing, like, something that happened and it wasn't really dead or whatever. But in South Park, when they kill, like, a character, they're normally dead. Like, they're gone for good. And the only person that just didn't happen, it was Kenny. And I always wonder, like, how come Kenny can die almost every episode and come back, but everybody else just, they stay dead? And then we figured out that every time he dies, his mom rebirths him, puts him in his hoodie, and they have like millions of hoodies, and then, you know, he just keeps coming back, which is insane.
You could practically write a college-level dissertation on the worst things he's done.
The man.
Let's stick to the most notable. Integrity Farms. Randy could not believe the state the world was coming to, and in response, he uprooted his family from their normal lives just to live out his own dream of being a pot farmer. Despite everybody constantly voicing their complaints to him about their new situation, he never cares in the slightest.
But he making bread though. Like, he's making money selling weed. You know what I'm saying? So it's such a hard thing because it's like, oh, you want to do best for your family, right? They may not like it, but then you like it. But then it's like, if you go back to South Park, I mean, shit, what was worse? If I'm being honest with you, living in South Park, actually living there, I mean, everything was happening. You got the devil, you got Mickey Mouse, the Jonas Brothers, everything was going on in there. So, I mean,
made Shelly spend a night
was it
in
really
a
that
prison
bad?
cell just for saying she doesn't like weed. Rather than go to Stan's concert, he forces him to wear a Integrity Weed t-shirt to promote the company at all times.
Stan, you need to wear your Integrity t-shirt at the performance.
Oh, come on, Dad!
It's no wonder that when he gets arrested as a result of his own actions and nearly sent to prison, his family could not be more excited at having an extended vacation away from him, down to throwing a party.
He could be in jail for a long time. You promise?
However, if there's one thing you can say about all of these fathers, it's that they do love their children, even if they can be a little too crazy or selfish for their own good.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that excuse doesn't go for Butters' father, Steven, or Chris, or whatever you want to call
Butters' father has to be the absolute worst dad ever. Has to be. You can't change my mind. This man punishes Butters so bad. And Butters is known to be the sweetest kid of them all. If Butters does anything, the tiniest of things, his ass is grass. Done. Fuck. Jackass.
What is wrong with that boy?
I don't know, but it's clear it isn't our parenting. We're awesome.
In Butters' very own episode, Steven started going to gay bathhouses and movie theaters, and Butters unwittingly walked in on it. Before Steven could get Butters to keep a secret, the latter told his mother, and she went crazy, painting the entire house from top to bottom and letting her appearance go ragged. And thinking the only way she could make everything better would be to kill Butters, and then herself. Steven doesn't seem to notice anything strange about her behavior, so he doesn't own up to what he did until it's too late. And to make sure Linda does not go to prison for supposedly drowning their son, he helps her lie and say that Butters was instead kidnapped by some Puerto Rican guy.
Was he tall? Short?
He was average Puerto Rican height.
That's
it's
crazy.
Only after everything is all said and done does he confess to his own failings and takes the family to Bennigan's for dinner, which seems to scar Butters.
Oh well, when I have a Chipotle blue cheese bacon burger at Bennigan's, I forget all about my dad being queer and my mom trying to kill me.
Poor kid. But this isn't even the worst thing he's done. Most notably, Steven often grounds his son for real or imagined reasons, especially for long periods of time.
An Asian turf war, Butters! You are grounded!
And
remember when Biggie Smalls came back? Remember he summoned Biggie Smalls and Biggie Smalls was trying to pop a cap in his ass? And he was running and his parents pulled up in the garage and it was like, hey Butters, what are you doing outside? And he said, yo, Biggie Smalls is trying to bust a cap in my ass. And they said, get your ass in there or you're grounded.
And there you have it. South Park, for all of its humor and cutting-edge satire, has some of the worst fathers in animation.
No,
True,
for real.
These fathers are funny, but I, for one, would not want to be raised by any of them.
Not one.
Lydia, thank you for having me. Back to you.
They had to be the worst.
Fire Lord Ozai, the last airbender.
I don't know.
Okay, where do I even start with
See,
Ozai? Well,
but you see with this one right here, though, he is a bad dad, but I think South Park is, like, even worse for the simple fact that, like, if you're going by at, like, the times that they're in, during this time where, like, there's different, like, you know, tribes and stuff, this type of stuff was actually quite, it was quite normal, right? Like, back in the day. Even though he did some shit to his son that he wasn't supposed to do, around that time, it was more, like... It's the time period. That's all I'm saying. It's a time period. Now, if he was doing all this stuff in the modern day, like today, then it'll be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? But he pretty bad though. His daughter might be worse than him.
Well, he challenged his teenage son to a firebending duel, and when Zuko refused to fight, Ozai burned the side of his face, leaving Zuko with a permanent scar over his eye.
How can you possibly justify a duel with a child? Was to teach you respect.
He saw his son as weak and banished him, telling him not to come back unless he captured the Avatar. And when they met again, Ozai struck him with lightning, intending to kill him. Christ, that makes everyone else seem very mild in comparison. And although Ozai favoured his daughter Azula, that didn't necessarily mean that she was spared from his ruthless treatment, because despite not sharing her brother's physical scar, her scars ran far more psychologically. She was trapped under her father's thumb for years, and she was merely a pawn in his schemes, because at the end of the day, Ozai didn't really love either of his children. Honestly, the lore and history of The Last Airbender is just so deep that Ozai's cruel treatment of his children can be an entire video. And maybe it will be one day. Alright, so now let's talk about Cotton Hill from King of the Hill. Yeah, alright, sure. Hank is always saying that his boy ain't right.
6 a.m. and already the boy ain't right.
But just because he's the kind of guy who doesn't wear his feelings on his sleeve, that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't show love to his children in his own special way.
He loves his kids.
In fact, we get the feeling that Hank wants to be a good dad because he knows exactly what it feels to be unloved by his own dad. You see, Cotton was always very hard on his boy, like that time where he tried to teach him how to shoot.
I want my binky back.
You want your binky back?
Even well into his adult years, Cotton continued to insult and belittle Hank.
I didn't want you, I wanted a boy.
Yeah, I know, I'm a girl, now get down.
And to truly put it into context of how much Cotton truly sucks, he had another son and named him Good Hank.
Dad, Hank is my name.
Not anymore. I'm taking it back. He's Hank.
And he wasn't afraid to remind Hank that Good Hank was his favorite.
I was spending time with my favorite son. You got a problem with that?
I mean, even on his deathbed, Cotton still called Hank a sissy.
Sissy!
So yeah, really, we have to give a lot of credit to Hank because he saw a lot of flaws in his own dad and decided not to let that pass down to his kids, therefore breaking that cycle of abuse.
Yeah, breaking the cycle.
Kudos, Hank. Hudson, aka the Lord of Evil from Adventure Time.
Oh,
if someone wears the title of Lord of Evil, it's a safe bet that they're not going to be the perfect father. And that's certainly the case with Hudson Abadir, Marceline's dad. I broke down their daddy-daughter relationship in her timeline, but to simplify, Hudson was absent for much of young Marceline's life. And when her mother passed away, she was looked after by Simon, but when he started to succumb to the power of the Ice Crown, he reconnected Marceline and Hudson before he left. And it's fair to say that Hudson certainly wasn't as selfless as her adopted dad, destroying her only shelter that she built. But the nail in the coffin for their relationship was when Marceline caught him eating her fries. And yeah, I know, it sounds a bit silly, but think about it. Marceline hardly had anything in life. She was hungry, destitute, and then her dad cruelly ate her only bit of food. This incident caused such a rift that she refused to speak to him for many, many years. But that all changed when Finn helped bring Hudson back into Marceline's life. Hudson realised just how much of a crummy dad he had been, and the two finally made amends.
I love you, Marceline. Don't you ever doubt that.
I love you too, Dad.
But Hudson hadn't completely learned the error of his ways, as he then tried to manipulate her into taking over the Nightosphere. But then, once again, he realised he made a mistake, admitted that he was proud of his daughter, and it seems that ever since then, the two were a whole lot closer.
I'm bad, but I'm not so bad, right?
But there's another crummy dad that I need to bring up, and that is Martin Mertens. But Martin's deadbeat parenting isn't completely black and white, and therefore to explain it, I asked VG Marcus to help me out. This dude is literally an Adventure Time encyclopedia, and I have to say that his recent deep dive into Finn's dad's past has been really, really excellent. So who better to break down this father and son relationship than VG Marcus?
Thanks a lot for having me on, Lydia. So Martin Mertens is a pretty interesting case because for a while it was extremely easy to just label him as one of the worst cartoon dads of his debut generation. This is a guy whose lifestyle was essentially a polar opposite to his son Finn's. Finn is a very selfless hero who's constantly helping his friends or total strangers to just make the world a safer place. Whereas Martin is an extremely selfish con man who only looks out for his own self-interest. When the two of them first reunited in the Adventure Time episode Escape from the Citadel, Martin's reaction to being reunited with his son was less than pleasant.
Finn's your son.
Son? Oh. Hey, good for you, kid.
And never giving Finn a straight answer as to why he never went out of his way to find him after losing him as a baby. Plus, after the Citadel was up in flames with the whole prison break and the other prisoners were escaping, Martin tried going with the prisoners and getting far away from Finn as possible.
I gotta run to the store!
Which cost Finn an arm in the process when he tried to prevent Martin from leaving. This event in particular broke Finn's mental to the point where he tried to literally create a giant tower to get to space just so he could punch Martin in the face as revenge. Despite kind of getting over this by the end of the episode, the rest of Finn and Martin's reunions were still less than pleasant, better than their first, but still not ideal, with the final one having Martin take Finn's place with the Purple Catalyst Comet and entering another plane of existence, preventing the two of them from ever seeing each other again at that point.
Goodbye, son!
Bye, Dad.
Even though Martin's been questionable with his present-day interactions with Finn, I do want to give him some benefit of the doubt here because the head injuries he received in the past seem to be the core reason he had such a tough time finding Finn again and staying a sane man. Martin did start off as a con man, but once he got together with Minerva Campbell, he became a much better man thanks to the relationship giving his life more structure. So after the incident where he lost Finn, his wife, and took a blow to the head, he reverted back to his old ways. At least the most recent time we saw Martin in Fiona and Cake, he went out in a positive note by not only taking care of baby Finn for a bit, but sacrificing himself to save Fiona.
Peter Griffin from Family Guy. On Lydia Loves Timelines, we are mostly a Family Guy channel.
Now y'all know all I do is react to Family Guy. So that means I got good details of how Peter is, how he is with his family, his friends, even his mom, his dad. I mean, the chicken. I know how he is. And I think he's a terrible father. He's a terrible father, but mostly to Meg though. When it comes down to like Chris and Stewie, hell, even Brian, like he has his moments where he's definitely like an asshole to them, but he treats them way better. Meg is the one that's really getting like the worst end of it, and maybe his wife too. But he a bad father. He for sure.
So you all knew this guy was going to be here, didn't you? So
of course.
Where do I even start with Peter? Well, there was that time where he tried to marry his very own son just to inherit his father-in-law's wealth.
And I guess I learned it's wrong to take your son to Vermont under false pretenses to try to marry him for his inheritance.
He straight up told his kids that he hates them.
I just hate being around the kids.
What?
And perhaps worst of all, his treatment of Meg. Now, I know I've gone on and on about Meg's treatment on the show and on this channel, but let's just quickly run down the worst things he's ever done to her, just to refresh your memory. 1, he cut off Meg's penis when she was born.
Okay, that wasn't the cord, and now you've got a girl.
2, he tried to abandon her at a fire station. He shot her in the head, threw hot soup on her, farts on her.
All the time.
Tries to sleep with her, constantly tells her to shut up, threw her out of the house, and asked God to erase her from existence.
What's happening? Don't look at her. Don't look at her. It's okay. Just go with it.
So yes, very, very horrific, but there may just be one other father who may be even worse. And that is Omni-Man from Invincible.
Oh, he takes the cake.
To talk about this murderous
he takes the cake. Is this the
father,
last person?
Implicitly pretentious onto the
I
channel.
think it is the last person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Onto his video Invincible Analysis Unlearning Violence a while ago, and
Implicity,
was
what's going on, my
so
brother?
Damn good that I had to invite him on. So I'll let him take it from here.
Hello everybody, it's me, Implicitly Embarrassing. Think, Mark. Those words are now 2 things. A meme, and the brutally naked words of a father trying to brute force his son into believing what he does. That the obsolescence of those around him can only be rationalized through dissociation.
Everyone and everything you know will be gone!
And you know what though? Like, he's a bad father. Hell, he's even a bad husband. But the things that he was actually saying when you truly think about it, he's just like, you're trying to save the world. You're trying to save all these people. But look, we're immortal. We can't die. Everyone that you know that you're going to protect is going to die over and over and over again. You're going to see generation after generation after generation going just like that. So he was saying like, do what I do. Cause I mean, yeah, I got a nice wife, you know what I'm saying, who I don't even really respect, and that's just really, it's just like a toy for me, you know, but she's gonna die, and then I'm gonna get with somebody else, and then, you know what I'm saying, and then I'm gonna have more kids, and then the cycle's gonna continue. Everybody's gonna die. The earth is gonna be destroyed. And guess what? Me and you are still gonna be here. We gotta go to another planet. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really think about it, he makes sense. But I wouldn't want to live my life like that though. I wouldn't want to live my life like that because it seems so ass, right? It seems so much better to just have feelings for somebody, for like your friends and stuff like that. Have them around, even if you're going to outlive every friend, every person, cool. Even if you're going to outlive them, at least you have an actual connection with people. You know what I mean? Like, we're humans. Even though, like, technically they're like, human, alien type. But still, you know? You just don't want to live your life like that.
Is valued as a pet.
She's more like a pet.
A pet. See?
Where the friends he's made can be disposed of, and his home is merely another place to be conquered. However, underneath this belief, Omni-Man actually carries a great deal of shame, because deep down inside, he doesn't measure himself on the merit of those values. he actually values himself as a father, even if he denies it. When Cecil asks if Mark knows his father is a murderer, for a moment, all the confidence is gone. His plans are no longer convincing. One of the main themes of Invincible is the idea that quality of life is more important than how long you live. Omni-Man is a really bad parent for the reason that he fundamentally refuses to engage in the connections he's made as a husband and, more importantly, as a father, where even if the relationships can't last longer than the frail passage of human life, devaluing it means missing out on so much that could be felt, that should be felt for a life that's worth living at all. So when Mark answers this question of obsolescence, where after hundreds of years, he'll still have his father.
I still have you.
And that's all it takes to break Nolan. Anyways, thanks for letting me ramble for so long, Lydia.
Yeah, like...
So, we've come to the ultimate question.
Like, when you... Yeah, I'll still have you, though. Like, even though moms will pass, my friends will pass, everyone that we possibly know right now will probably pass, me and you, we gonna be here. I got you. You're my father. You know? It's a crazy show, man. It's a crazy show. I like it.
Worst dad. If I had to choose personally, then I would go with Peter Griffin, because Peter literally asked God to swipe his little kid from existence. So I know it's just a joke, but still. Of course, this is all completely subjective, and it's just my opinion. So do let me know yours down in the comments below.
I have
also,
an opinion.
I'd like
you have
to
an
say
opinion.
a big thank you to
saying?
Dan the Man, Kitty Monk,
The worst moms.
BG
We gotta react to that
Marcus,
too.
and Implicity Pretentious for helping me out. Thank you so much. They're awesome.
And I want to say thank you to you for creating this wonderful video, Lydia. You did a fantastic job at creating all of this. Even though you had some help, I'd like to thank all the people that helped out. Y'all are awesome. So yeah, who do you guys think is the worst father? I'm gonna have to go. They say Peter, he's bad, but like, I'm sorry. Nothing competes with all the dads of South Park, and specifically Butter's dad. Butter's dad is the worst father in my opinion. I know that Peter wished his, daughter away, but we know that's just a running joke. You know what I'm saying? Butters literally gets he gets punished for the littlest shit, if not anything at all. So you guys let me know in the comment section who is the worst father. You know what I'm saying? Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I catch you guys in the next video. I'm out.